Greetings and welcome to Connecting with Intent Show. I'm your host Muhammad Wes. On this episode, we have a very amazing personality. He's the owner at Yera Lagos Wellness, Michael Hackett. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Michael Hackett. Hackett, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who were you surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
So I am an energy healer, and for me, it started in 2006 when I had a brain tumor surgery that left me crippled, and throughout my own healing journey. But what actually inspired me was in 2020 during my spiritual healing. I met a young lady, Tina Bachnovitz, and she later became my Reiki master. And during one of our healing sessions, she guided me on a meditation back to the time when I felt the least powerful. And for me, that was during my recovery from the brain tumor surgery because I was a cripple. And in that session, she guided me to say exactly word for word that up until that moment I had always thought was the spirit of my father who had recently passed away back then visiting me. But as it turned out, it was my future self. And it was just such a profound moment for me. At that moment, I knew this is what I was meant to do to help people heal through trauma like that in that kind of a way.
What is your higher purpose in life?
Well, I'm here not only to help people heal, but to help revolutionize the way that we live and heal in today's world because my process is so different and unique from what most healers do, combining both sides of the coin, holistic and medical, um, working with doctors in scientific ways as well as the holistic ways with my patients.
What have been top three greatest challenges that you have had to overcome?
So, my biggest challenges have mostly centered around myself. My own history of trauma and having to heal through all of that to start with. Um, and then my own inhibitions over what I do because it is so different, and how people might receive that method of healing. Um, and then lastly, knowing that I can't save everyone, because not everyone's ready to do the work, or, or they don't think that they need the healing.
What is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
So this is actually fairly recent, and goes back to May and June this year, because I also work with animals, and one of my own dogs, Maddie, started to lose control of one of her hind legs, and we did some really intense healing work on that. And I was determined to cure her because we had already cured her from seizures in the past. And we started to actually make progress, and she was gaining control of the leg again. And then she had a stroke, and I wasn't able to do anything about that. And I had to let her go. And for me, that was just heart wrenching. And it was one of those moments that I just, you can't fix everything, you can't cure everything, um, as hard as you try. And I had to learn to live with that. And part of me still is a little bit because it's still kind of a fresh wound. But I know that I did my best. And in the end, she went down quietly, knowing that she was loved.
Wow. What is the most impactful book you have read and what did you learn from it?
So this actually is not really related to healing so much, but the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell was a very potent and powerful book. It helped me for years as I grew as a leader in the warehousing industry, which was my previous occupation. But all of that still applies to what I do now because it helps to drive greater performance from me in a occupation of service where I've always been a servant leader.
What are your goals for the next 12 months?
And so for the next 12 months, I'm actually getting ready to start next week. I am going on the road and I'm starting to look. I'm going to travel the country, bring my services around the country, and I am looking for a property where I plan to build out not just my business, but a whole community of interconnected wellness related businesses.
What advice you will give to younger yourself?
So, my younger self, never give up, no matter what, because it may take time, but when you follow your dreams will follow you.
That's a great advice. How can we support you?
Well, like I said, starting next week, I'm going on this road trip looking for property. I'm getting ready to post a campaign to help support the effort because I'm looking for early investors, and that's all going to be up on my website starting next week. So you can follow the journey there and help support through the cause on that.
What would you say about your guest appearance on the show?
Well, this is my first podcast I've ever been on, so it's exciting. Very happy to be here, be able to talk a little bit about myself and what I do. And it's a great experience. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your kind words. What closing thoughts would you like to share with our listeners?
So I have my own little saying that I like to tell all of my clients. Um, Perception is 9/10 of your truth. And if you want to change your world and how it is, you've got to change how you perceive it. Perception is everything.
Thank you so much, Hackett, for sharing your wisdom with us today. On the behalf of Connecting with the Intent community and our entire team, we really appreciate you. This is Muhammad West. Until the next episode, all good wishes.
Thank you for